So got a new permission here. We had about an hour and a half to come out and dig, so didn't really do a tailgate intro. See what we can find in the next hour and a half at this old farm. Piece of old pottery. That's cool. First hole, piece of old pottery. Some blue on it. I can't really tell what's going on there. Piece of a plate maybe. And that, my friend, is not, I don't think that is 2/3 of a snowman. I think that is a blob of lead. Well, that's strange looking. A little piece of jewelry or a little piece of something. Anyway, silver colored, but probably not silver. Right here beside the old barn, there's multiple things in the ground right here, I think. See if we can find the best one. Now, that sounds pretty dang good. It didn't in there with all those nails. See what we got. Round out of the ground. Round out of the ground. Ah, we got us a wheat penny. Very cool. Let me see if I can get a date off of it. Right here by the old barn. I thought it had a good signal in there. 1954. 1954 Wheatie. Hole number 4 or 5 on the day. So let me count Bob. 4 or 5 on the day's a Wheatie. Cool. Right here at the old barn door, where the steps used to be, I think. Got something either very similar to an aluminum can or a big iron. But even where it's at, going very shallow, so it feels kind of like I might have got it out. Ah, makes sense. That was at the previous barn door. Old hinge. Something little, guys. I know what you are. You are a lead cap off a roofing nail. So back in the day, they didn't have plastic, so they dipped the roofing nails in lead, which is soft. And when they nailed the nail in the hole, the lead sealed up around the nail, and that's how they sealed off their tin roofs. Old lead roofing nail cap. Heck of a signal right here inside the old barn, and I don't think that was the original well house. I think that was a later well house. Ah, old plow point. When that's on the surface, most detectors love it. So knew it probably wasn't a coin, but anyway, cool find. Reliving history, one old relic at a time. 23-24 in the road. First pull tab of the day at hole 590. What do y'all think? Which screams pull tab even more. Let's see if I can call a pull tab. Reliving history. One old pull tab at a time. I think we're in the old road going down to the barn, so I think we got a little more gravel to deal with. That's a really solid signal. I passed up a couple. is growing to something not so little anymore. There you are poking out. What are you? Looks like hand forged metal. Under the road. Jeez. Oh my gosh. That was definitely worth digging. Next time I get a signal like that though, y'all say, no, don't dig another one. Ooh, I got a little dizzy. Afraid we're still in that gravel, but we either got two really good signals. One's right here under the poop. No gravel. Just be off to the side of it a little bit. A little bit of gravel in there. Oh, goodness gracious. So just a second ago, when we dug that amazing piece of iron, I started me a pile right up here. I'm gonna put this in the pile and pick it up on the way back by. Another either real shallow or a real big signal right there by that ginormous plow point we just dug. Thought I was getting two signals. That thing was so big I couldn't tell what was what. There. What is it? Oh my gosh. It is a giant. It's a giant something. Some sort of angle iron bracket off something with a big old screw in it. Recovering artifacts together, no matter how big and heavy and junky. $57, $55. Not sure what that is. It's not as bouncy as your average beanie weenie can or vein of sausage can, but it kind of has that feel about it. Let's see what we got here. Went from almost a little signal to all iron now. So obviously we moved it. Let's see what it looks like. It looks like a, so that right there is possibly, definitely probably a brace off of a wagon. Old wagon parts. That's cool. Hand forged, I think, on the end right there. Reliving history, one relic at a time. Now that we're away from the gravel, we can get stuff out of the ground a little easier. Here it is. That looks a lot like something we need to file. I'm gonna say it's definitely an old file. So they made them round on one side and flat on the other, or they made them triangle shape. That one's triangle shape. Cool old file. Recovering artifacts together. Good morning, everybody. Relic Rat here. Got an old house place. The house is long gone. Barn's still standing. Heck of a beautiful barn. Big iron in the ground everywhere around here. We've been digging about an hour so far. We're gonna go at it another hour. Probably got a tailgate full already. Stuff we've digging. Dug about 20 holes already. Mostly big iron. Did get one wheat penny already. Just me today. Got Sister Rhonda behind the camera. We'll see what we can find you. Oh my goodness. That is the junkiest of all junk. $19.22. Feel like we don't have big iron for a change. We might have a pull tab. Or maybe we got a little train button. Not only a little train button, when you see the train really good. Oh my goodness. That shovel was not going in the ground right there. What we got here? We got us a piece of something. Piece of brass piping. Pretty sure we're gonna have a tailgate full. We're gonna hold 606. Well, I thought this was deep. No, I don't think it's deep. Oh, there she is. Wait a minute. What are you? That is not all iron. What a cool. Oh man. Surely this was not a gold-plated bridle. A lot of shiny stuff on there. It was a weaver. It was a weaver bridle. Cool. Old bridle. Once again, I'm denying somebody a heck of a buckle spill 200 years from now. Not my first time to do that. Clips and all still work on it. So not crazy old. Crazy cool. Reliving history. One relic at a time. I feel you. What are you? Big old plow point. Wow. That is a chunk of something. Heavy, heavy, heavy piece of iron. Pass that up. I see an imprint of something. Ah. Old piece of brass water hose. $28.30 right here. I'm gonna dig it. We finally made it to the shades of the woods. What the heck? Is that a cemetery? That's cool. Wow, we'll come back to that target. Stay right there, shovel. How cool is that? Relic right here. Going along the edge of the woods back behind the old barn where we were digging up stuff. Found a little piece of a cemetery. I'm not gonna get over in it, but this gentleman was born 1848 to 1934. Old, old, old. Just a little 15 by 25, 20 by 25 cemetery. About 8 headstones in it. There were some stones back here behind it when we got up here. But I think that's just part of the outside that got pushed up with a tractor or something. So, reliving history, one old cemetery at a time. After checking out the old cemetery, we're back to our little 2730 signal. Hole number 611. So that's 31 on the day. Let's get you out. Definitely got him out. This is very much reading head stamp or maybe a button or something. Who knows? Down here by the old cemetery. I just get so tired of calling head stamps. So tired of being right sometimes. So we're gonna leave the cemetery here. We're gonna work our way down this shady bank right here. Might be a creek down there we may go along and work our way back up towards the old barn. 10 or 15 more holes, might be done. Old head stamp with a star around it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pull tab holder. That's where the pull tab used to stay, and this held the pull tab in place. Best pull tab holder ever. All right, this time we're gonna call, I don't know, be a chunk of iron in the ground. I was about to call Pepsi or Coca-Cola again. Maybe we got something a little more interesting. Come out of the hole, you booger. Oh, finally, finally, finally. I'll stand up with it. That, my friend, is a cool old axe head. Wow. So, I've been wanting to show this. A lot of times when you dig up an old axe head, you see how it's flared on top right there? That's because they use them as splitting mauls. So they'd stick the axe in a piece of wood, and then they'd either take another axe or a sledgehammer or a hammer, and they'd hammer on it split the piece of wood. So that's why you find a lot of times you find old axe heads flared like that. Very nice. Recovering artifacts together. Well, I thought I had a good signal. We're gonna dig it because it's deep. Sometimes when it's deep, the legend said, that's a good signal, that's a good signal, but it's so deep, I don't know what it is. So, let's dig her and see. And the root slayer doesn't mind digging out here in the open. We're gonna say to ourselves, self, there never was a good target there in the first place, and you knew it, so why'd you dig it, self? Get it out, whatever it is. That, friends, is a very solid chunk of iron. Some sort of something made for something. I don't know what it would have been. I'd like it to be an axe blade or something, but it's not, I don't think. But anyway, I mean, 18 inches deep. Right here by the old barn. Reliving history. One relic at a time. $51, $55, either big iron or silver dollar. You know what? Although it could be a silver dollar at those numbers, it could be a half dollar too. I'd take either one. In case y'all wondered. I think it's big iron though. Come out. Oh, wow. Ooh. Not only big iron, dangerous big iron. Glad I did not lean over on that. Oh my gosh, look at that, y'all. What? Oh! I don't know what it was, but it was meant to stab something at one point. We'll see what else is in the ground. Some sort of blade for sure. All right, y'all, there's a little blade I dug out of the ground. And this is what came out behind it. Never heard of nor seen anything like this in my life. I'm sure some of y'all have. Blade attached right there. That was another blade. It was a big old pair of shears. Big old pair of shears, spring-loaded, tensioned shears. Don't know what it was meant to cut. First thing that popped out of the hole was that looking at us, daring us to touch it. That attached right there, as you can see. That was the bottom, that was one blade. Went back and found the other blade off the other tip. Can't hold it all, but as you can see, was some sort of, oh, that went that way with the blade in. It was some sort of big giant pair of shears. Weird, primitive shears. Very, very cool. You got the other point out of the ground. See if I can hold it all together. The other point out of the ground as well. Big old pair of snipping shears for cutting something. Very, very cool. Recovering artifacts together. There's iron there, but I think there's something else. I may end up pinpointing 2 or 3 targets here. I believe that's possibly a stove handle or a stove lid remover where they took the top off the stove and set it aside when it was hot. If it's not, it's made just like one. So I believe that's what it was. Very cool. Almost back to the truck. Still digging big iron. I promise you we're going to have the tailgate full. We got some cool little things too to show you. Cool little thing. All right. That, my friend, that is one of the coolest things ever. Because when you use it, you go, and that turns around, and then this does some stuff, and then you put it in your pouch and say, why not a good signal with that big old piece of brass? Almost back to the truck, back beside the road. Made a big long loop. Ended up finding an old cemetery about a couple 100 yards back behind the barn in the edge of the woods. Old cemetery looking at us. Ah! Old horse tack. That one's a little different than a lot of them. Old ring. Fatter on one side than the other. Last hole, hole number 50 on the day. Well, I lied. Hole 51. Hole 51 is maybe gonna be our last hole. We're like 30 feet from the truck, 10 feet from the road. Ha! Big old brass signal. That's why I had to dig it. Look at the imprint. Is that an imprint? I think that's an imprint. Oh my gosh, this world's biggest imprint. That is a thermostat from an old chicken house. Brass thermostat. Heck of a signal, almost like a mason jar lid. And that is an imprint. That is some extreme digging. Ay, ay, ay. Good morning, everybody. Relic R.A.T here. Had about 2.5 hours worth of digging. Dug. Ended up digging 52 holes, and I'm showing you just about all of it. Minus a little bit of junk. I'm gonna start up here with the big stuff. Got an old car tail fin, some sort of pulley. Maybe a bush hog, something, maybe a leaf spring, I don't know. Plow points, Mountain Dew cans, something stuff. No idea what this bracket is off of, but it's big. Something off a tractor. That might be another piece of it right there. That might be another piece of it right there. We dug all those near each other. One of the coolest things we dug is this old sort of primitive pair of scissors. I bet there were 1,000 of them, 10,000 of them made back in the day, and they're not uncommon, but I thought they were cool. As you can see, got 2 blades on them, and although the blades aren't there, they work just like this. They were tensioned shears or tensioned scissors. No idea what they were made to cut. Very, very primitive. I guess you just kind of bent them around until they slid against each other. But anyway, that was cool. Nice old file. Got ants on it. Go away, ants. Out. Got an old hoe. Old piece of a something. This bracket still got the burnt wood in it, so it might have been on an old wagon that burned up. But cool old bracket, old hoe. More old plow points. Horse tack, old hammer. Probably a stove hook that took the stove lid off. Iron pin. 2/3 of a snowman. Blob of stuff, little silver thing. Roofing nail, lead head off a roofing nail. That reminds me of something. Maybe a key that opened the can. Key that opened the can, I don't know. Piece of a snap button, probably not very old. And like first 5 holes, I guess we should have stayed near the house. We ended up going down there near the barn. 1954, wheatie in really good shape. 5th hole of the day, and then we dug 50 or so after that. Never got another coin. But anyway, cool old axe head. Once again, these axe heads were mushroomed out like this because they would stick them in a piece of wood, and then they would take another axe or a sledgehammer and they would hammer them through the wood and use them like a splitting maul, when in reality they were just big old heavy axes. But anyway, that one might be good enough to repurpose. Recovering artifacts together.